So the question everybody has on their mind is Twisted Fate actually a good support? But the question I have to shoot back is, what makes a support good? Why is Tarek an okay support, Janna an amazing support, and the new Sona and Soraka not too strong? Actually, Soraka might be strong. Sona is not all that good, though. So, why is Twisted Fate a support I like? Well, he's very, very aggressive in lane. He has a stun, he has a follow-up to that stun. You're going to be very active in trying to do damage. You don't have a heal, so you can't play the sustain game, and you can really start roaming once you hit 6. Number-wise, Twisted Fate has an amazing support ability with Pick a Card. It is a 1-second stun at level 1, with a 6-second cooldown and, maybe 1.5 seconds you'd spend actually choosing the right card. The longest it's going to take is for gold card to be the first card and immediately switch. So when that happens, it's going to take, I'd say, a second, maybe 1.5 to really pull it out, and then you shoot it. So it's a very, very frequent stun, makes it very strong. And eventually it builds up to a 2-second stun, better than Tarek's. So you have this good stun. If you have someone like Corki, you can play a very, very poke-based game. Unlike Tarek, who is going to have to go in there to get Shatter or auto-attack. You just keep doing it from range. Now, what makes Janna good? Well, instead of you being aggressive, you make the support or the carry aggressive. You give them a shield, you can let them tank damage, and hopefully you can let them follow up and do a lot of damage of their own. So Janna will protect the carry and then let them be aggressive, and she can help set up the aggression with tornadoes, but she's setting up the carry to do a massive amount of burst. So this means that you really only care about the positioning of one person, because Janna does not need to be close at all to do anything. I mean, if she shields, she can be very far out and still get the advantage. And, she has that amazing game-changing ult. With GP5 items, she's perfectly strong. The shield does get a little better, but it's not a huge deal. So, supports, I'd say, are based off of 3 categories. How good are they without items? Number 1, if you require items to be decent, then you're not worth the time as a carry or as a support. Do you require, how do you do in laning? Are you a good laner? If you cannot help the carry win his lane, why are you there? You can do roaming stuff. Alistar is very, very good at it, but that's not quite the traditional support. Traditional support is going to be someone like Tarek. Okay, Tarek, good in laning. Why is, support Nasus not good? Well, aside from the fact that he needs items, he doesn't really do anything in the lane. What's he going to do? Slow someone? That's it. And while it is a strong slow, it's not going to make up for the fact that he doesn't do anything. Unless he's secretly overpowered and that slow really is that good. In which case, I'm totally wrong, but I'm guessing no. So, why is Nunu good? Nunu, same thing. He's very strong in lane. That slow makes the carry really, really weak for the enemy team, and Blood Whale makes him really strong. Well, your carry really strong. And he has an amazing ult. He doesn't really require any items. So, when you look for supports, look for those 3 roles. The final one is how useful are they without items. This is what makes Janna so good. Her ult is amazing. Sona has a big problem where her ult's really good, but her laning is weak now. So it's not quite the same. But you got to look at those 3 different subjects and just go, well, will it work? Will it work? Will it work? And the thing is, we don't really let supports develop well in this game. There are some supports like support Yorick. I've done support a Kaiser before. It only works with Tristana. But we've been very, very restricted to traditional supports such as sustainers. Now that the sustainers have been nerfed into oblivion, a lot more things work. And it is our duty as League of Legends fans to try and find these things. Now, the question is, what works, what doesn't work? That's where it gets tricky. Because something might look awesome on paper, like support Twisted Fate, but when you actually play it, you go, oh no, wait, no. It really doesn't work as well as I thought it did. Like, support Twisted Fate will just be absolutely horrendous with Graves. He does have that burst spell, but he just doesn't have enough burst and enough range, and you can't protect them. So anyhow, that was just me talking about supports and ranting for a bit. So let's jump into the replay. I'm going to warn you right now, and I'll warn you in game 2. I had just gone back to base, and top lane was being ganked. So let's go in. And so we return, as top is getting super ganked. Damn. So I had just ported back to base when this replay was cut. And as you can see, top is being ganked. So since I was at base and nothing was really going on bot lane, I decided now would be a good time to go help out in this fight. And I don't do a lot. I get a stun off, I get exhaust off, and I get cards off. But that's enough. That was all we needed to make sure that Lee Sin did not kill Olaf. One more Q from Lee Sin probably would have killed Olaf in that case. And you gotta know when to go out there and take these, chances helping other lanes. I really like to do it when I've just gone back to base. And it's a lot easier to do as a support because I don't need to farm, and I trust my carry enough that he'll be safe. If you have a riskier carry like Ashe or, say, Vayne, who might get bullied out of lane, then yeah, you can't roam. You gotta go back there and help. But Corki's fine. He's doing A-okay on his own. We actually both have a level advantage on their lane because I've gotten those successful ganks off and because, well, Corki's been just farming a storm up. Now, as you can see, the second I see any action go on in another lane, I immediately start leaving the lane. And the idea is, if I'm needed, I can just port in there and help out. Sometimes I do get the chance, sometimes I don't. Now, as you can see here, our team is doing Dragon. The thinking here with not helping was we didn't want to make it obvious. So we tried to pressure Blitzcrank and Ezreal, because that way, if they're just being focused and harassed, they're not going to be able to go out and defend. And you can just see our burst coming into play. Corki's burst is just amazing right now. He is one of the strongest AD carries. You just get a couple shots off and a couple ticks of his E and one blast of his Q. And you've just got this high, intense damage coming out very, very quickly. And as you can see, I'm doing the same thing here. I see a bunch of action top. I roam mid. Because A, Brand is dead, so I have to hold mid now. And B, maybe I can head up there and help. And this is the same case where, maybe I can go help. But, just an unfortunate tower shot saves the day, and my services are sadly not needed there. Unfortunately, blowing an ult like that is a significant investment. It's 2 minutes where I'm not going to be able to roam. Now, Twisted Fate does have cooldown reduction on his, pick a card? So wild cards. On his E. And I do have cooldown reduction as a support from Masteries, but it's still not a huge number. And the enemy's aware. They know that for the next 2 minutes, I really can't be in their face as much as I'd like to. But they don't have that massive map mobility. With Shaco dying, as I blow that cooldown, it's not as scary. And we can keep doing our thing. If we just get one decent poke off, we can get a kill now, just because Ezreal's level 12, and even though I don't have a whole lot of AP, I've got some. You know. And O-Ermi is just super scared. But there's something to look for in games like this, just how the enemy players are acting. So right now we know Shaco's mid, we know Katarina's mid, and we really can't. We know they're not going to gank at this point. But if you see a player acting strangely, that generally means something is up. We'll see an example of that in a little bit. I'm just setting it up so once you see it, you'll know what's going on. This case, my ult was down. I decided to go, make sure I can clean up at least. Because as the ult was coming up as I ran to mid, and if needed, I could have ported. But me being there to stun made sure that Rammus did not get Lee stung to death. But lanes are going well. Katarina is actually the only scary member of their team right now. Lee Sin did not do as well against Rammus. I don't think he knew how to lane against a Rammus. And he might just be a counter I don't know about. But once you, if you try and attack Rammus, you're never going to win a trade when he has defensive bulk roll. You max it up first, do a lot of reflective damage. I wish I could focus on that Rammus more. But sadly, the top lane's very, very far away. But as you can see, Blitzcrank goes forward into the bush. They're trying to get our attention. They want us out there. And we're not falling for this. They tried something similar before. It ended up with us getting a double kill, so it wasn't that bad. But we know they're being kind of weird. There's something weird when the Blitzcrank, who's just getting bursted down instantly, is moving forward into different bushes. We're also very, very content to use their summoner spells. In that case, Ignite and Heal were used. And we see Shaco for a glimpse. We see him, and we know, you know what, that's okay. And it's made even better by the fact that we're getting a successful gank off mid. So, when you're in a situation like this, where you have this jungler in your face trying to be aggressive, it's okay just to camp and sit and let him do his thing. Because while he's there, he's wasting his time. You can also do something like say you know he's there, because you know what? Sometimes I'll get them to back off. And while you might reveal ward presence, if you don't want him there, that's a good way to get rid of him. In that case, though, the second Shaco left, we just went in, killed Ezreal. We assumed he wouldn't be able to react. And here's a nice little strength of Twisted Fate's ult. He's very, very good against invisible characters. But he doesn't have to be near the invisible characters to be any good. So his ult revealing Shaco, that's the end of him pretty much. He did not get us very, very far away because he wasn't in a good position to flash away. And all of a sudden now he's just screwed. This is another case we're content just to take Katarina's flash. We have no mana between me and Rammus. I have to blue card to get it back up. Rammus just isn't going to have mana. So even though we probably could have chased, maybe gotten a kill, but it wasn't worth it. And you know what? That's fine. Blowing summoners, especially on something like Katarina, who might need an extra bit of escape to not die, is awesome. And when you get them, you know, if you can't press the advantage, don't. Now here, I'd made a mistake earlier. I forgot what I was building, and I went for Reverie instead of Woda first. I really like Woda because as an AP support, you know, it benefits me a ton. We have Bran, we have Corki. This is something that actually got said by the 1100 players, which was a good point. We have a lot of magic damage, so might as well benefit from it and heal quite a bit. So we know Ezreal and Blitzcrank are bottom. We're just going to be super aggressive. We're not going to go full out, balls out, dive to the max. But we're not going to take some chances that we're not going to assume they can kill us, actually, is a better way to put it. Because if their entire team isn't there, if that Blitzcrank isn't there, they are missing a lot of CC. So we can just keep bullying them. We can just stay in their face, just literally pounding the ground in front of them, being rude. Blitzcrank's still not there. Just keep at it. Oh, a little hint for you Twisted Fate players. If you want to have a card ready to stun and you're pushing an inhibitor, you can do it. Towers and Dragon, though, you'll use the card up on the Tower and Dragon. So right now, Blitzcrank is in our jungle. And what's your instinct when that happens? Chase him, kill him. However, they immediately go for Dragon as a response. This was actually a really good play by the Blitzcrank, but we don't take the bait. We have enough forward coverage. So one of the best times to go for Baron is when you know the enemy team is retreating. However, we don't fall for it, or at least we did not get far enough away to actually let them get Dragon or Baron. So we take it. We just take the fight. I mean, they were tanking Baron, they're behind. And there's not much they can do. And that was actually a really good Shaco ult to dodge Rammus' ult, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And this is the point in the game when it's really over, people are just very, very demotivated. I mean, the Blitzcrank did not have a good game. Maybe he was tired, maybe he's not used to playing support, but it was just an off game for him. And the lanes overall just did not go well. Now, we have a very, very strong mid to late game. I mean, Bran, Rammus, Corki, Olaf, Twisted Fate. Even me without any damage, just the fact that I have that constant stun is going to be huge pressure. So it's up to us to finish the game soon, but they're very, very demotivated right now. And cool thing here is I actually cut off Katarina. I could have gone a little further and it may have not worked, but in cutting off Katarina, I actually push her into Rammus. Now, her being CC'd by either of us would have been awesome, but Rammus doing it, I mean, it's just funnier that to escape she had to go into Rammus. And we actually have a lot of CC. The Phage from Corki and Triforce from Corki really coming into play. Fantastic item on him, makes him so much stronger. And we're just diving and killing. Shaco tried to flash away with his stealth, but I have oracles. And when you get an ace in their base, an ace in the base is a win. In a case like this. So this was Studio. I hope you enjoyed this replay. And yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow.